Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. My name is Artem, and here is the news. 633 days less the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Yesterday, Ukrainians celebrated the Day of Sergeants and Warrant Officers. In his evening video address, President Volodymyr Zelensky thanked every sergeant and warrant officer who genuinely cares for the soldiers, supports the fighting spirit in their units, and knows how to be leaders for the troops. According to him, during the full-scale war, over 13,000 sergeants have been honored with state awards. The president approved several decisions on sanctions of the National Security and Defense Council of Ukraine. Almost 40 Russian legal entities and over 100 individuals, including those involved in the kidnapping and deportation of Ukrainian children from the occupied territory, are in the list. Also Ukrainians who in various ways assist Russian terror against their own country. For example, sanctions are imposed against former officials like ex-Prime Minister Mykola Azarov, former Education Minister Dmytro Tabachnik, and ex-MP Oleg Tsaryov. Quote, "We are increasing the pressure of our state on them. Each of them must be accountable for what they have done, and we will not leave any connection of these people with Ukraine," unquote, stressed the president. We would really appreciate if you could rate us, ideally with 5 stars, and leave a glowing review in the app where you're listening to this podcast: Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and others. This way more people would learn about the podcast and truth about Russia's invasion of Ukraine. In an article for the Washington Post, US President Joe Biden has pointed out that the United States' support for Ukraine is keeping the US military from participating in the war should Russian aggression spread further, reports Ukrainska Pravda. Quote, "We know from 2 world wars in the past century that when aggression in Europe goes unanswered, the crisis does not burn itself out, it draws America in directly. That's why our commitment to Ukraine today is an investment in our security. This will prevent a broader conflict tomorrow," unquote. Biden stressed that the world expects the United States to solve the problems of our time, as this is the duty of leadership. The US president also pointed out the similarities between Russian terrorists and Hamas terrorists, as they are fighting to wipe a neighboring democracy off the map. The air defense managed to down 15 out of 20 Shahed drones launched by Russia against Ukraine overnight. In particular, 10 Shahed drones were intercepted near Kyiv this night, reports Suspilne. Head of the Kyiv City Military Administration Serhiy Popko informed that no casualties or critical damage in the city registered at the moment. He added that the Russians launched many groups of drones to target Kyiv in waves from different directions, constantly altering their route. At the same time, regional authorities informed that one of the infrastructure objects there were damaged, but no casualties. Thank you for listening to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast. We're a commercial initiative of just 2 people, and we need your help to grow. Share information about the podcast, rate us in the app, subscribe to our Patreon. With your support, we are getting better. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.